Let's do a review of what angles are, where we get them from. Now, you may have all this information in your head already, but it's not bad to go over it. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to use some of this information to, at the end of the video, do a proof of why and how vertical angles are equal. I'm going to try to keep this video under 8 minutes. So let's get started. We're going to start with a circle. So a circle, something that looks like this. Now, a circle, you should know that a circle is 180, not 180, that's ridiculous. It's 360 degrees. I'm getting kind of ahead of myself because I was thinking already, what if we cut the circle in half? We have the center of the circle there, and if we measure this, it's called a straight angle from end to end, that is 180 degrees, half of the circle. And that's true for any time we have a have an angle we're looking at, it's part of a circle. So if we looked at this right here, let's look at a different angle. I'll put some arrows heads on there so that looks like a ray. And we're looking at this angle right in here. And let's just assume that that's 1/10 of the circle. We're dividing into 10 equal parts all the way around. So 1/10 of the circle, 1/10 of 360, that would be 36 degrees. So when you look at an angle, lots of times it might be helpful to say, well, let's compare that to an entire circle of 360 degrees. Okay, let's move on from that. Here we are in Italy, and it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Now, it's not pizza like in the cafeteria, it's Pisa. That is the city that this tower is in. I want to find out how far this tower leans over. Now, over here, one of these people over here has been nice enough to loan me their giant protractor. I think it was Stefano was nice enough to do that. So let's take a look at how far this tower leans over. I'll take this protractor. Let's make it a lot bigger, like this, something like this. That looks about right. So right in the middle would be 90 degrees, would be straight up and down. Let me draw a line here. So this is just all estimates. So I got a line here. So that's the straight ground, which would be 180 degrees. And then if I make a line from the top all the way down like this. Okay. Now, we can take a look at this, and it looks like this angle on the leaning side is about 78 degrees. 78 degrees. From there all the way down to there. Which means the other side has to be 102 degrees. And the reason for that is, I'll draw that right here. This other side has to be 102 degrees. Because these two always have to add up to 180 degrees. 180 degrees add together. They form a straight line, like the ground. One side is 78, one side is 102, added together, you get 180, and that is called a linear pair. Two angles that form 180 degrees. Okay, let's keep going from there. Now I'm going to do a proof. A proof is when you take something that you know and use that information to show, to prove something new. What I'm going to try to do is prove that these two angles, B and C, are equal. Now, here's how I'm going to do that. When we looked at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, we were thinking about angles that are next to each other, like this, adjacent angles that form a straight line. Now, they have to add up to 180 degrees. So angle B and angle A added together is 180 degrees. I can also look at two other angles, A and C. Those two angles also have to add up to 180 degrees because they're right next to each other and they form a straight line. Okay, let me write that down and we'll do something with it. Here we have what we were talking about. angle A plus angle B equals 180, and angle A plus angle C equals 180, and we're going to use this thing called substitution. You've done it plenty of times. When you substitute a number in for, say, if x equals 3, you substitute 3 in wherever you see an x. Well, here it's a little bit different. If we look at this, a plus b equals 180, and a plus c equals 180, so I can take this stuff and replace it where the 180 is. It's the same thing. So let me do that right now. Okay, that looks pretty good because look, 180 equals 180, and these two equal each other. This thing was 180, I just replaced it. Okay, now, if you think about algebra for a second, what's the same in this equation? The a's. So I could subtract that from both sides. We've done that plenty of times. I'm having a little trouble subtracting on this computer, so I'm just going to cross it out. I'm just going to say, I'm going to get rid of that, I'm going to get rid of that. I subtract angle A from both sides of the equation, and look what we have. Angle B is equal to angle C. And that's exactly what we want to prove right here. Angle B is equal to angle C. So using the fact that I know that two angles add up to 180 when they form a straight line, and substitution, I was able to prove that angle B is equal to angle C. So now we know that vertical angles, that's what these are called, have to be equal. And now we can use that fact to prove other things later on. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next time in class. Bye.